It's time for Twig This Week in Google. Stacey and Jeff are here. Lots to talk about. We all just got our Android 10. Stacey's got a brand new Pixel 3a she's setting up. We'll talk about Google's $170 million settlement. Is that enough? And the chicken sandwich wars. It's all coming up next on Twig.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twig.
This is Twig, This Week in Google, episode 524, recorded Wednesday, September 4th, 2019. Y'all good? This Week in Google brought to you by Monday.com. Monday.com helps teams manage work and meet deadlines while building a culture of transparency. Manage all your core business activities in one place. You can find out more at monday.com/twig. And by Crest. The Crest 3D whitening kit removes over 10 years of tough, set-in stains to give you noticeably whiter teeth. 100% guaranteed. For $20 off your first Crest 3D whitening strip kit, go to crestwhitesmile.com and use the promo code TWIG at checkout. And by Epson's EcoTank printers. Kiss expensive cartridges goodbye. Add an Epson EcoTank printer to your home or office. EcoTank comes with a ridiculous amount of ink. You just fill and chill. Check out Epson.com/EcoTankLeo to learn more. It's time for Twig This Week in Google, or as some say, This Week in Interrobangs. Actually, that does not get a semicolon. I screwed it up, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
I screwed up the semicolon.
We were discussing semicolons.
Oh, my God, a whole book.
This
is like Mark Kerensky's book on salt, a whole book on salt.
Karsten was trying to prevent us from doing any punctuation talk at the beginning of the show. That's why we're doing it.
We did it for half an hour before we began the show. Stacey got a whole column in.
Yes, it was the most productive I've ever been.
That's Stacey Higginbotham. She's always filing at Stacey on IoT, her IoT newsletter. And, of course, the IoT podcast with Kevin Toffel.
Is that your new 3A?
That's what I've been doing, is I've been setting up my new phone while they've been talking about grammar.
Yay.
And Jeff Jarvis is also here, professor of journalism at CUNY, the Graduate School of Journalism, and he's also a blogger at buzzmachine.com. He is also using a 3A. Do you 3A people? Do you get Android 10?
Not yet, no.
I have Android 10 on my Pixel 3 XL.
There's no way to have it check for updates anymore.
Yes, there is.
It's hidden.
Okay,
yes,
tell me where.
It's hidden. I had to do this. I had to do this yesterday, and it worked. You go into settings.
It's way down at the bottom where you at least expect it.
System.
Advanced. System updates right at the bottom.
System updates. Yes.
System update. Whoa.
Oh, and now I bet you're going to get it.
You will get dual SIM support.
No.
That would be cool.
What
You'll
carrier?
make the 3A
What carrier
better.
are you on?
I'm on AT&T.
Because carriers can block it, I believe.
But not just dual SIM support, but simultaneous dual SIM support.
Yeah. Isn't that
I thought dual SIM you had to switch SIM.
No.
You had to tell them which one you wanted.
No. So at least in the dual SIM phones I've used, like the One Plus, you can designate which SIM to use for different apps. So you can say,
you take phone calls from either?
I think so. I don't know.
Okay. Right.
That's an interesting question. I don't know about that. But you could say I want my text messages on one SIM and my phone calls on another.
Yeah.
Can I get the expert panel's advice? This goes for you guys and the chat room. Because I am giving my Pixel 2 to my daughter, is it worth signing up for Google Fi and not giving her a SIM card at all? She's 13. Pros and cons.
She will never be able to call you from, without
Wi-Fi.
Without Wi-Fi.
No, wait. No.
Are you saying just get her a Google Fi data only SIM? No, you want to give her a phone system, right?
No. Well, Can you use the virtual SIM instead of a physical SIM? That's what she's asking.
Oh, the eSIM.
The eSIM. Yeah. I think it's...
Yeah.
It offered me the chance to set up my phone
it's eSIM.
without using a SIM.
Right, that's
just
eSIM.
using Fi.
Fi supports eSIMs. All carriers will support eSIMs in the coming year, but Right now, Fi does. Yes. I think Fi is great. So here's
right.
the pros and cons. Fi's $20 flat for text and messages, for text and phone calls in the U.S., period. That's done. That's every month. And then $10 per gigabyte or less per fraction of gigabyte as used. So if she doesn't use a lot of data, and she probably won't, because I bet you she uses the phone data mostly at home with Wi-Fi, maybe at school, then you will have a very inexpensive phone.
All right. Well, I'm going to do it and see. But she should still be able to, like, if she's, down by the docks at night and she's like, how did I get here? I'm scared. Mom, help.
And it uses, at least for now, and I don't know what's going to happen if T-Mobile-Sprint merger goes through, but right now it uses T-Mobile and Sprint and U.S. Cellular and Wi-Fi, and it'll choose whatever's best. So I've not had any connectivity problems at all with it, including here where we don't get T-Mobile very well at all. I guess it goes to Sprint.
Thank you, guys. Because, yes, the other option was to add her to Verizon, which is like,
ooh, that's
I'm giving you money and setting it on fire.
And the problem with that is you often, I don't know if this is still the case, but it was shared data, and our 16-year-old, who was then about 13, would go through all the data every month in the first week. And then Mom, Lisa, goes, Michael, you used up all the data again. So finally we went to T-Mobile where he could use as much as he wanted.
You could try Visible.
Yeah, I'm that person in our family.
Visible is the new Verizon thing. That's interesting.
Verizon
MVNO, sort of, because it's not really, because it's their own thing.
That's only $40 flat a month.
And it's supposedly unlimited data, right?
Yeah, it's unlimited data.
Well, she really doesn't use that much data, so I'm not.
I think Fi is actually a good choice for somebody who doesn't use a lot of data. Of course, there's our sponsor, which is Mint Mobile. But that's really more for if you know you're going to use a certain amount of data every month, then it's more economical than Fi. But if you don't use that data, you don't get money back. Fi, you get money back if you don't use the data. So I think it's probably a better. What's interesting is how competitive and how much variety there is. And according to many states' attorneys general, that's about to go away with the Sprint T-Mobile merger. I don't know if I believe that. I agree with them.
I have conflicting opinions. Although I do find I consider myself pretty smart about carriers and pricing plans, and even I am trying to research what to do for her, what's best.
It's complicated.
I am like, shoot me in the head. It's so much.
Jeff, you don't want Android 10 because it's dark mode. I just said that to see what would happen. You don't have to use dark mode.
Yeah, but I won't be able to see how to switch it off because it will be dark.
I like dark mode, but not everybody does. Obviously. YouTube.
It happened to me the other day. I was driving with my Google Maps. I use Waze, and I was coming back from the U.S. Open, and Waze wasn't working for whatever reason. So I have a Google Maps, and we go into the Lincoln Tunnel, and it goes to dark mode, and I start growling.
I don't like that. Yeah, but that's not the same as operating system wide dark mode. That's just a weird thing that Maps does. It's to protect your eyes at night. Because you don't want a big, bright phone glaring at you while you're trying to drive at night.
I also don't want a dark phone I can't read and can't figure out where the road is.
Oh.
I love dark mode.
Yeah, me too.
You would.
We're dark
Just
people.
to spite me. I know.
Just to spite you.
I know.
I'm like, I enjoy.
He's the angel Azariel, and we are David Tennant, whoever he is. YouTube will pay what?
No, I was going to say, I sent my daughter out to I told her to go talk to my tomato plants.
Yeah.
This is only a David Tennant reference. And I go outside just to see what she's doing because she had been gone for a while. And I hear her yelling at my plants, grow better, which is just like Crowley.
That is okay. That your daughter is officially cool in my book.
Today.
That is awesome. Talk to the tomato plant, says hippy dippy mom. Daughter goes out, starts screaming, grow better.
It was excellent. All right.
YouTube, I'm going to try one more time.
Yeah, let's do actual show stuff.
Then I'm just going to throw this story out. We'll pay $170 million to settle claims it violated child privacy laws. This just crossed the wires today. FTC says it violated the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. The settlement was voted through the FTC in a 3-2 vote. The Democrats said it wasn't mean enough. Republicans said enough already. The New York Attorney General also will get some money. $34 million for the state of New York, $136 million to the FTC. It's the largest amount the FTC's ever obtained in a COPPA case since the law was enacted in 1998. This is what FTC Chairman Joe Simon said. When it came to complying with COPPA, YouTube refused to acknowledge that portions of its platform were clearly directed to kids. Child-directed sites are, in other words, that portion of YouTube, including, I would guess, the thing labeled YouTube Kids, must disclose data practices and get parental consent before collecting information on kids age 13 and under.
Now, let me understand this. Was this stuff that was apparently for kids or was labeled by YouTube for kids?
Yes. YouTube and Google, according to the New York Attorney General, knowingly and illegally monitored, tracked, and served targeted ads to young children just to keep advertising dollars rolling in. These companies put children at risk and abuse their power. It's not clear. Maybe it doesn't encompass YouTube.
Yeah, because there is an issue there.
No. It's just
if you keep reading, it talks about YouTube aggressively marketed itself to children's toy companies by saying they could reach children, which means
they told the advertisers they could do it.
Yeah, it's basically COPPA says you're not allowed to
monetize kids,
to advertise to kids.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to tell advertisers.
But I mean, think about it. When a network puts on cartoon programming and sells it to Hasbro, isn't that exactly what they're doing? Is that why?
But there isn't a law against that.
There is a law, actually.
COPPA is a law against that.
Oh.
Yeah, the FCC mandates time for advertising to children, like via cartoons. That's why we have, they actually have laws related to that, but it's not COPPA. It's a different set of laws associated with the FCC.
And it was, of course, the networks don't really gather information about who's watching. They just provide, just like we do. It's like we don't gather information about people watching Twig, but we know something about them because it's the nature of the content.
No, the TV does the same thing. They have Nielsen boxes that say who's watching,
but it's not,
how many
they don't
kids
gather
are
information
watching
about any
this.
specific kid.
No, but they know how many kids. Basically, they're allowed to give.
It's not a privacy violation.
It's not a privacy violation. They are allowed to give their Nielsen information to advertisers.
One of the Democrats who wanted a stricter fine, Rohit Chopra, in a dissent, said this latest violation is extremely serious. The company baited children using nursery rhymes, cartoons, and other kid-directed content on curated YouTube channels, I would gather that's YouTube Kids, to feed its massively profitable, behaviorally based advertising business. He wanted something more serious.
I kind of agree. I mean,
because first of all,
Google's
$170 million is nothing, right, for Google?
Yeah, they've made that much money on ElsaGate videos since we started talking about that.
Right.
Now, the YouTube blog post about this says they're also going to invest $100 million in children's programming. So I wonder if that's them trying to kind of create a controlled space.
Yeah, well, that's what you'd have to do, right? And you would have to make sure that you got parental permission before a kid could log into that. Maybe you don't, and maybe they don't log in at all. Maybe you don't collect any information.
But then how would you monetize them? Sorry.
Well, the same way the networks monetize Saturday morning cartoons, which don't exist anymore. But if they did,
well, they still. I mean,
they have kids shows.
I will tell you, they have kids shows and they have advertising.
And the advertising is not for Budweiser.
No, but it's for like
Hasbro.
Honey Smacks or crazy. I mean, my daughter, who grew up in this weird blip of time where we only had Netflix and no cable, she'd never seen these ads, so she didn't want any of this stuff. And it was weird to me.
Yeah.
And now she just doesn't even know what to do with advertising.
Now
she's so confused by it.
This ties into it, and I am a little concerned about this, but it's just come out. This is from the Financial Times, that Google has been doing some sort of weird thing, and I don't really understand it yet. So,
this made no sense to me.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's behind a paywall.
But I saw another story somewhere that said that
It's so apparently the Financial Times security guy. Let me see if I could find. It's
a little hard to talk about it if we can't read it.
Yeah, I saw through the paywall briefly, but now I can't anymore. Gosh darn paywalls! I suppose I could spend money to get the Financial Times, but I remember what the guy said is he was doing an analysis of what Chrome was gathering on him, and it turned out Chrome created an invisible page that had no content on it, but had his unique identifier, his Google identifier on it, a page that advertisers could pull up. Let me see if I can.
So I got a CNET story. I got a CNET story here. Yeah.
Okay.
Prepare your autoplay.
Yeah, and then that's another. Yeah,
so
it's a choice between autoplay and paywalls. I don't know.
Well,
I pay for a lot of
this.
In
the chat.
Financial Times is kind of expensive.
It is.
I can't really afford
it. It's good. In response, Google said it doesn't serve personalized ads or send bid requests to bidders without user consent.
Yeah, but the
process laid out by Ryan could potentially be cookie matching or cookie syncing. It's an ad industry practice of matching ads across multiple sites based on a user's browsing history.
It's a non-denial denial from Google.
A Google developer page on cookie matching explains the process and the privacy principles the search engine follows, such as not allowing the info to be harvested by da-da-da-da.
So I don't want to jump on this only because this came out this morning. I didn't have really time to dig into it, but the point was Johnny Ryan, who works at Brave, he's their chief policy officer. Brave is a Chrome-based private privacy browser, which I like a lot. He submitted this as evidence to Ireland, which is investigating Google, to the Ireland Data Protection Commission. So I think we have not heard the end of this. Ryan said he discovered that Google used a tracker containing web browsing information, location, and other data, and sent it to ad companies via web pages that, quote, showed no content. This could allow companies buying ads to match a user's Google profile and web activity to profiles from other companies. And in fact, that is against Google's own ad buying rules, according to the Financial Times. Google's denial is not really a denial, so I don't.
Yeah, they're saying that everybody does indeed get this unique web page identifier. What it seems to be saying is they're not serving personalized ads or sending bids without user consent, which is just basically saying at some point in time you must have agreed to this.
Yeah.
If you search for cookie matching, you get some descriptions of this.
So maybe people did opt into this with Google, and then that would make it GDPR compliant.
Right.
But maybe they opted in without realizing they were opting in because terms and conditions are painful.
This is Maciej Zawadzinski from the ClearCode blog. What is cookie syncing and how does it work? If you work in online advertising, you probably heard of cookie syncing.
There's a video there you can play.
Yeah. Why do ad tech and data companies use it? So this is, by the way, why I have started using Firefox. And the latest version of Firefox is even more aggressive in blocking this kind of tracking. It's got new anti-tracking protection. It allows you to turn off fingerprinting. It also allows you to block third-party cookies. But the issue is, of course, fingerprinting is starting to replace third-party cookies. And that's what we're talking about, a unique ID on the user's computer, which allows advertisers to track you moving from page to page. It's a form of fingerprinting. So cookie syncing oh boy.
This is more arcane than going through punctuation.
But it is more relevant to what we are supposed to be talking about. So it's like a super cookie.
It's a super cookie for advertisers so the idea, I guess I should start at the beginning with first-party cookies, which is originally the intent of cookies, is that when you go to Starbucks site, Starbucks can remember what your order was, can remember what your password is. And obviously they don't store that, or they don't want to store that on their site. They store it on your computer as a cookie. It's just a persistent bit of information. That's a first-party cookie. Only Starbucks can read that cookie. The problem is, of late, when you go to Starbucks, there is also a Facebook like button, a Twitter like button, a share on Twitter button, a Google Plus button, stuff like that. All of those buttons are actually served by Facebook, Twitter, and Google. Any cookie they set is technically a first-party cookie because you loaded content from Facebook. The problem is you're not on Facebook. You're on Starbucks. So that's what we call a third-party cookie. And the danger of it is Facebook can now track you on every site that has a Facebook like button on it and see everywhere you go. If you go to then Pete's Coffee, they know you've been to Starbucks. Starbucks doesn't know, Pete's doesn't know, but Facebook knows. So, as mentioned previously, cookies are domain-specific. Those created by one third-party tracker, like Lotame.com, cannot be read by another third-party tracker, like AppNexus. Similarly, Twitter can't read Facebook's cookies, and vice versa. For advertisers, this restricts the potential amount of information they can collect about a user. Therefore, in order to accurately target an audience, advertisers need to incorporate user data from various domains and sources, which happens as part of...
It's not so much just Facebook or
no,
Twitter.
There's lots of them.
It's
Google.
AppNexus
There's a ton of them.
or it's the programmatic ad networks.
Yes. So that's when you get these data buying agreements and partnerships where I'll give you mine if you give me yours. Advertisers are able to achieve this by, and this is the key here, mapping user IDs from one system to another. So this is your AppNexus ID, this is your Google ID, this is your Facebook ID. It's all the same person. So now I know a lot more of you. That's cookie syncing. Did that make sense, my description of that? In other words, I'm saying Leo has cookie A from Google, cookie B from Facebook, cookie C from Twitter. That's all those three things, A, B, and C, represent Leo. By syncing those, I now have a bigger dossier of all of Leo's surfing from those various companies. A, B, and C becomes Leo.
When you say I have it, who are you playing?
Well, the advertiser would be one. Google would be another. Anybody who's selling ads, right? The cookie syncing process is used by most ad tech platforms, including ad networks, that's Google, demand-side platforms, don't know who that is that Facebook? Data management
DSPs,
platforms.
DSPs are part of the programmatic ad network.
Got it.
So a demand-side...
it's so complicated. This is part of the problem with ad tech in general, is it is a very convoluted, elaborate process with one goal in mind, to track everything you do on the net so that an advertiser can target you. The results of the cookie syncing process benefit those mentioned above, ad tech, DSPs, DMPs, data management platforms, ad exchanges, supply-side platforms. And they're able
DSP and SSP.
Yeah.
The DSP allows the buyers of digital advertising inventory to manage multiple ad exchange and data exchanges. And the SSP allows the seller, the media company, to do that.
Yeah.
And the two talk.
They two talk. So you could see this is the cookie syncing from DSP to DMP happening right here.
What's happening here, and this enables retargeting. So you go to Amazon, you see a pair of boots. Those boots follow you around for 3 weeks. Because the data about you being boot interested is more valuable now than any proximity to editorial content in boot world. And so wherever you are, if you're going to weather.com or you're going to goodyogurt.com, there is a cookie set on you, a user ID on you that you are boot interested, and that enables bestyogurt.com to make some money because there's nobody who wants to advertise yogurt, but the boot ad is there, and that's what enables that. And in media, this is proven to be two things, both valuable and commodifying. It's valuable because now media companies, news companies, for example, can present their ad inventory, their unsold ad inventory, which they have plenty of, to a wide range of advertisers they would never reach because they would never go and get RFPs from them. The bad part is that it commodifies media because now you don't go buy a boot ad in, Outdoor World magazine. You can put it anywhere because what's valuable now is the user. So the whole program, I was at I had an event at the school where a major executive in programmatic kind of yelled at the media people and said, "Why are you doing this?" This is somebody who made his living in programmatic. Said, "Why are you using programmatic? It commodifies you." And then the chief revenue officer from a major media site in the room said, "Sorry, man, I got to, because that's where the ad dollars are going. The ad dollars aren't flowing through requests for proposals and PowerPoints and all that anymore. They're flowing through these platforms because there's an instant auction that gets the best possible prices and better targeting, and that's the way the media world operates these days. So it's not just that Facebook and Google are doing evil things. It's that this is the way the entire ad infrastructure is working these days."
It's true, and it gets harder and harder for us because we don't do that to survive in this ecosystem, because advertisers expect it.
And value comes down, by the way.
So if you're in, so this is a cookie sync script from Pubmatic. What happens, by the way, when you click this link is you're going to get a blank page, like the one the Brave guy explained that Google's doing. So essentially, it says is offering cookie syncing. Now, when I click this,
when do you ever get that page?
Well, you never see that's the point. The user doesn't see it. This is part of. The user doesn't need to see anything.
That's what makes no sense.
But what happens is it synchronizes the cookies. So,
but how do you ever end up at that page to do the syncing?
They ask for it. That's your ID.
No. I, the user, never click on that link to get a blank page.
No.
Well, then the tree fell in the forest and it didn't sync.
Because you didn't see it, but the ad guy did. What do you mean?
Your ad page clicked. Your little boot ad clicked on it.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything. It's all done for you, Jeff.
When you saw the ad that you got because you're a boot seeky person. A boot seeker. That ad
hidden page. That hidden page got shared.
Yeah.
So I run uBlock Origin, which blocks all this stuff. When I clicked on this link to get to my secret page, uBlock Origin said, no. This is an ad tracker. I'm going to temporarily stop blocking it. Oops. And then I'm going to get another one. But there is finally the usync blank page. There's no content on the page because that's not the point of it. All you need is the ID.
I still don't understand. I never get that tab with the blank page.
You shouldn't.
No, but
you won't see it. No, it's not for you because you're a human.
It's not for you.
You're a human.
It's for a machine.
The ad is getting that page.
And it's using it to sync.
Yes.
So that's the allegation from Financial Times and from Johnny Ryan of Brave, which is honestly probably not surprising because other ad tech companies do this as well. So it's not surprising that Google's doing it. However, the problem is that Google says, well, we don't do that. So that's going to be the question. Is Google saying they don't do that?
So this was just a very confusing 10 minutes of
I apologize, and I wish I had had the time because it just came out today, but I thought we should talk about it. I wish I'd had the time to kind of parse it a little bit better, but you got to engage with us as we were
parsing
it.
And you offered a really helpful, it's a really helpful overview of the ad industry, which is really hard and convoluted to understand.
Well, it's kind of amazing. And
amazing.
And this is why, and this is why ad blockers and tracking protection, and this is the problem, is you're getting this escalation now in this war between ad tech and users who I think not unreasonably say, well, but wait a minute, I don't want you doing that. What really needs to happen, I think, though, is some sort of transparency so users can opt in. Because honestly, a lot of, that's not how we make our money, but we're very old school. The way we make our money is so old school compared to this. And I fear that in years to come, advertisers are going to just say, well, if you can't give us that data, we're going somewhere else. And there are podcasters who will start doing this. There will be this kind of ad tech in podcasting. It's coming. That's one of the things that we're talking about at the Podcast Expo, the podcast movement. It's coming. I don't want to do it. And there are technical difficulties because it's one thing on a web page because you're using a browser, and all the browsers until recently supported this. Now they're starting to block it, and it's a big war coming. But right now, when you listen to a podcast, there's so many ways you can listen to a podcast that there's no system for doing this at all in podcasting yet.
But they're working on.
Oh, they're working on it.
Hidden tones.
Our friends at the Interactive Advertising Bureau, IAB, would love this.
And it could increase the value immensely, too. There's value to the content creator here.
Yeah. Well, so this is why it needs to be a conversation and why it needs to be more transparent. It could put Twit out of business if I refuse to do it. It could be the end of Twit. And a lot of podcasts. If the owners of the podcast network say we don't want to do that, advertisers could turn away and say, well, we're only going to buy ads on where we know this kind of information.
Conversely, if they find a really good way to do it and we agree to it, it could make us all incredibly wealthy.
There's another problem, which is the kind of ads we do not lend themselves to programmatic advertising, right? I read an ad, it's baked in.
Well, but that's also why you get those kinds of ads. You get direct response.
Well, I think they work better, right? But
you're right.
In order for this to work, you'd have to have what's called DI, or dynamic insertion, because just as you see different banner ads as you go around the web based on your boot preference, people buy ads and podcasts would like you to have different ads served to you depending on your geographic location, your demographics, what they know about you, and so it's increasingly popular. In large podcasts to have dynamic insertion.
And it's, there's a company called, for example, A Million Ads that does this. There are companies that start to do this. They're doing dynamic serving in podcasts. So it's coming.
It's here. There's a lot of them. There's A13. There's one we've tried. We've tried it, or is it A16? I think it's A16. We tried it, with back catalog. So our stuff is so baked in, it's kind of, we'd have to completely redo how we do ads. But we have a long tail, right? We only get paid for ads in the first 6 weeks of the show or something like that. After that, the ad doesn't go away because we don't edit it out, but we don't get paid for it. So whatever hits an ad gets in months 3, 4, 5, 6, that's just free to the advertiser. We get no revenue from it. So what we've tried doing, and we've looked at, and maybe end up doing, is not on the first run, but after those 6 weeks, starting to replace existing baked-in ads with dynamically inserted ads, because we don't get the same kind of money for dynamically inserted ads. Although, honestly, as you're listening to it, it would probably still be me reading it. It might not be so different. It wouldn't be quite as tightly integrated into
It's like when you go out of town.
Yeah. Yeah, you roll in a pre-record.
Here's the bad news. You've got to record 100 ads tomorrow.
Yeah. I would like to keep doing what we do.
Yeah.
Who knows what'll happen, though. And there's also, by the way, and this is a complete different, the IAB is also insisting on a new people counting technology that, in my opinion, dramatically undercounts mobile users. It really hurts podcasts with a high-tech audience, people like you who listen on your phone and on your Google and Amazon Echo.
Most people?
No, normal people don't. normal people don't. And so
normal people listen to podcasts?
They get counted more. Yeah, now they do. And they get counted better. So what is going to also happen, I think, very subtly, is these new audience measurement technologies will hurt certain podcasts. And so it's going to homogenize podcasts. Podcasts like ours will go away because we have a technically literate audience that uses mobile. There's a bunch of reasons. I don't want to get going on this.
Because no one listening to our podcast is normal, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're abnormal to begin with. So podcasts like mainstream podcasts like Serial and stuff, which hit a more normal audience, are going to get counted more effectively. Their numbers are going to go up. Our numbers are going to go down. And eventually you're going to have a homogenization of the podcast arena, which I regret as well. And that's going to be very subtle. You're not going to, in my opinion, that kind of that audience count difference is not going to be apparent, but it is.
I don't know. Maybe it will just be, this is my hope, maybe it will just be less efficient to sell ads on those more niche podcasts.
Well, yeah, but eventually it gets harder and harder to do because we spend a lot. Look what we do here. We spend a lot of money That's all. That would all have to change, right?
Yes.
So you're going to get, yes, what will happen is the great middle will go away. You're going to get the very high revenue intense podcasts that are from big brands because they can do all this stuff. You're going to get the hobbyist podcasts that don't monetize at all. And the stuff like us, the independent networks in the middle, I think are just going to disappear. But by the way, this is exactly what happened with blogs when ad tech first came into blogs. The Voxes and the Verges and the big blogs of the world survived. Blogs like yours kind of survived because it was hobbyist blog, but this middle, the John Grubers of the world, Daring Fireballs, kind of struggle because they're not willing to do the ad tech stuff, but they do need to monetize. So I think that's kind of what happens. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
The bigger question is, in the long run, in an abundant-based market, what happens to volume-based advertising? The prices will keep going down and down and down and down.
Right.
And
there's
at some point, it's not going to be worth it, and you have to have there's no scarcity. And so at some point, entirely new models, and I believe they're going to be service-based models in journalism, are going to emerge. And yes, there's going to be paywalls behind that. There's going to be other kinds of
That's probably exactly what
that
will happen with podcasting, too. I bet you're right. Yeah. I think that's exactly right.
So we should offer some more actionable grammar tips if we want people to pay for this.
Actionable grammar tips.
Actionable grammar tips, yes.
Tips.
Tips.
Punctuation tips. I did get an upside down interrobang in Twitter, and I'm wowing the masses at this point.
Interrobang.
I screwed up. I just cut and pasted. I got in there. Yeah. Upside down interrobang.
Wow. Aren't you fancy?
We need the
Nice.
Hobonichi Techo people to sponsor us. We can do product placement.
It's sitting here right on the desk.
Exactly.
Gee, I wonder what that is. I sure would like to buy one of these.
They just went on sale this week.
They just went on sale this week. Google is...
Did you, we've discussed this before. I mean, did you try to be Wirecutter?
You mean with affiliate links?
We did a little bit with we do now with our product show. We do affiliate links for Amazon.
You can't do it in a podcast for obvious reasons.
No, but on our site, if you go to Hands on Tech,
if you click a link, that'll have an affiliate link.
The link to the product, then
it's maybe a few $100 a month.
But yeah, no way that going to pay anybody's salary.
But
I still think
doesn't even pay your car
two products a week. Like that's not going to pay anybody.
But we've tried it, TwitPix. We've tried a lot of different things. But honestly, really, 99% of the revenue comes from the ads that you hear on these shows. That's fine. I mean, we've done very well. It might be, I'm getting to retirement age. It's not.
No, Dad, no.
I'm going to write it down. We'll just see what happens. I
want to be doing.
I don't
this
want to be
20
chicken.
years.
I don't want to be Chicken Little, but I do. I think that I love being in a new medium where it's like this. It's democratic. It's not mass media. It's not mainstream, and I love that. And I think it's great to be able to do that. Having come from the mass medium and still having a foot in mass media, I really love what we can do with podcasts. Not just mine, all podcasts. It's really exciting. It's a new world. It's really, really cool.
You can't
I wonder
retire
what we'd
until
each
my
be
kids
complaining
are out
about.
Out of college? Okay.
Yeah.
Karsten, you could go get a different job. I'm just saying.
No,
actually,
that is
you
what
can't.
people do.
No, I can't.
He has found
I am not
the
really
only place-
employable at anything but this.
Basically,
All
anybody who's still working here is stuck here. That's really the story. Including me, I might add. Can you see me on the street pounding the pavement looking for work? This is another story that broke today. Don't know what's going to happen, but according to the Washington Post, more than half of the state attorneys general are preparing to announce an investigation into Google next week, a big antitrust probe from the states. They are expected to unveil the investigation on Monday at a news conference in Washington. This is according to the Post and 3 people familiar with the matter who spoke on the condition of anonymity. It's not clear, according to the Post, whether some or all of the attorneys general also plan to open or announce additional probes into other tech giants, including Amazon and Facebook. This is kind of interesting. This is what's been sort of happening. It happened with the Sprint merger, Sprint T-Mobile merger as well. The feds approved it, But the states have jurisdiction too, and the states' attorneys general seem to be more and more willing to wade into these antitrust matters.
I think part of it is probably.
Hold on. Go ahead, Stacey.
Part of it is a reflection of our current political climate and the huge chasm, as one might say. In states, you'll look and see, and those are probably more populous, and they will speak out where they feel the federal government is letting them down. And I expect to see this not just in tech mergers, but across a lot of other things, like some of the rollbacks of various federal regulations. We're already seeing states come up and say, nope, we're going to implement our own laws then. So I think that's a function of the times we live in.
Yeah. Well, it's also, but it's hard for somebody like Google because now you have kind of death by 1,000 cuts, piecemeal attacks. For instance, not all of the state's attorney general have the same agenda. According to the Post, Texas officials are worried, as are Louisiana and Mississippi, about politics, political bias at Google, and the censorship of conservative viewpoints. That's Texas. But Louisiana and Mississippi sharply criticized Google for its handling of users' personal information. They're also concerned about the surfacing of search results and a political bias. So there's a mix of concerns here, and that means
and agendas.
And Google's got to fight on a lot of different fronts.
This is what happens when we don't have a working mechanism to hash out our differences. That used to be Congress. Now it's increasingly it's the courts, and it's through these systems. So it makes sense that this is, if you look at this the same way you would look at all the parties weighing in, the different entities affected by laws into the writing of legislation, that's kind of what's happening.
Yeah.
It's just happening through the courts. And again, it's...
6 years ago, the Obama administration the FTC declined to prosecute Google over their search or ad business. They decided not to give it any penalties. Currently, the Justice Department, the FTC, and Senate lawmakers are all investigating, and now these states are also going to get into the matter. I should point out, and the Post does, that this happened with the Microsoft case way back in the 90s when Microsoft was being prosecuted by the Justice Department. Their own state's attorneys general also got involved in that. But what usually ends up happening is the federal government coordinates with states. That system maybe is breaking down, because you could see right here with the Sprint T-Mobile merger that's gone through with the federal government, but it's hung up now by I think 28 states, some large number of states. I guess
but not large enough to write an amendment to the Constitution.
No, can't do that. So when I talk about our little piddly problems at podcasting, I'm glad I'm not Google. That's all I can say.
I think even with the headaches, it'd be worth it to be Google.
Yeah, just hire more attorneys. You don't have to worry about it.
Think about the quality of snacks you would have in the office.
Oh, we have pretty good snacks, don't you think?
We have awesome snacks.
I once had... I had Chipotle queso. That is not high-quality snacks.
Those new Chick-fil-A Cheetos are awesome.
That was for you. There is a box marked Leo only, which has macadamia nuts and shelled pistachio nuts, which apparently are horrendously expensive. You have to shell your own, sorry. Only Leo gets pre-shelled. I've told everybody.
I'm on 8th Street in the Greenwich Village today, and I overhear, dude, I can't eat sushi. Keto.
Keto? Just eat the fish off the top. It's okay. That's pretty funny. You're going to hear that the keto cry more often, I think. It's spreading.
Yes, I'm going to host Thanksgiving for my parents who are keto, and by gosh, turkey.
No, Thanksgiving's easy for keto. You just don't eat the mashed potatoes or stuffing. You could have the turkey, you could have the green beans. There's plenty of stuff to have. Yeah, they can have vegetables.
Not my parents.
They don't even eat veggies? They just eat meat?
Yeah.
Can they have the sweet potatoes?
No.
No sweet potatoes?
No sweet potatoes? What are you, crazy?
How about sweet potatoes with the marshmallows?
What are you,
on top?
nuts?
It'll be
Cranberry
okay.
sauce?
No, that's so sugary. That's like just sour sugar.
Green beans are a little carby, I have to say. So
okay,
maybe make them some broccoli.
Bacon-wrapped
their call, man.
Bacon-wrapped Brussels sprouts.
Ooh.
Is that a thing they could eat?
Oh, totally.
They could totally eat
Not only
bacon
could they
wrapped
eat it, they'd
Brussels
relish
sprouts.
it.
Yep.
Drizzled with butter.
Okay.
Just think,
Got it.
No carbs. That's all. It's easy. That's the thing about keto. It's very easy to do. And we had pizza for the staff today. I just took the top off, left the crust behind.
So you had cheese wrapped in meat.
Yeah. Gosh, it's good to be keto.
Do you use cauliflower flour?
I don't use cauliflower flour because when you mill stuff, it gets a little dicey. But I use cauliflower all the time. I love cauliflower. That's fine. Cauliflower rice is very, very good, especially if you make it with Parmesan cheese and garlic. Good.
Oh, guys, I only had a salad for lunch. You gotta stop. It's gonna kill me.
I had greasy cheese wrapped in meat myself.
No, greasy meat wrapped in cheese.
Greasy meat wrapped in cheese.
I'm so excited. Across the street from me is opening a Taco Bell at work.
Are you ready for, what do they call it, fifth meal?
Fifth meal.
Fourth meal.
Fourth meal? Why not have 5?
Like,
Let's make it 6. That is the quintessential ad campaign in, like, I don't know how to, it's just fourth meal. Yeah, 3 meals a day. It's not quite enough. Let's go to Taco Bell.
It's not enough for an American.
Supersize me.
So, Stacey, have you had the Popeyes fried chicken sandwich?
Ooh.
No, but I really wanted to.
We all do.
I did.
I'm not going to fight for that. Have you had a Chick-fil-A sandwich?
Well, this is the battle,
yeah,
is which is better. I won't eat at Chick-fil-A because of their politics. So
politics, yeah.
I'm going to Popeyes. But everybody's saying that the
good.
new chicken sandwich at Popeyes, how do we get on these tangents, is like the next coming. There's lines around the block.
Good. Well, no, they ran out. They had to get rid of it. I went to a store.
Social media battles, massive crowds, and overworked employees. Boy, that does look good.
They were crazed. The staff was completely crazed. It's been like that. They had to stop selling it at 3:30. Now they've stopped selling it entirely because they're basically run out of chicken suppliers.
What? Yeah, it's sold out.
We're out of chicken.
Sold out.
There were lines at every Popeyes. The staff was working overtime, driving crazy. Huge issue for workers' rights here.
How does this even happen?
This is how the restaurant wars begin. We're going to have only
I
Taco.
think it was in
every
Mad
restaurant
Max.
will be Taco Bell. No, it was Demolition Man. All restaurants will be Taco Bell within the next 5 years.
God, I hope not. Popeyes. I've never been to Popeyes, but
this is
Popeyes is delicious.
I know.
Popeyes fried chicken sandwich is great. It had a little mayo and some pickles. The pickles are a nice touch.
I think the pickles are a nice touch.
The pickles make the Chick-fil-A sandwich. I don't know about the mayo. I'm anti-mayo. But the Popeyes chicken is delicious, and their biscuits.
So apparently Buffalo Wild Wings and Cracker Barrel are now testing new chicken sandwiches. McDonald's franchisees are calling on the corporate office to start developing a top-tier chicken sandwich as its top priority.
Buffalo Wild Wings is trash. Do not like them.
The launch of a legend. We missed this. I didn't realize it's all gone. It's done. It's over.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
I did want to go get one, but I'm not going to fight a crowd.
We've wiped out the entire chicken supply of the United States.
And I'm trying to find the story. It was one tweet from Popeyes against, it was a tweet
Chick-fil-A
from
responding
Chick-fil-A
to the Popeyes.
against Popeyes, and then Popeyes' response.
Business Insider
That's what led to all this.
calls it the tweet heard round the world.
There you go.
All right, so back to Google.
I got the New York Times story. It's a good story. Here, I'll put it in the rundown.
Most early social media support of Popeye's chicken sandwich appears to have been a grassroots movement, a rarity in the sea of influencers. Did Stacey make a funny and I missed it?
I asked us to get back on target.
Get us back on target.
Oh,
this is Twitter. This is social media.
Twitter. This is Target.
The internet.
All right.
This is legit.
The internet. Sure.
So
that morning, one of Popeye's fast food rivals, Chick-fil-A, had tweeted what appeared to be a thinly veiled critique of the new fried chicken sandwich.
A subtweet.
It appeared on the official Popeye's account So then all the Popeyes responded. They had a big meeting.
Popeyes responded.
High-speed brainstorm. Y'all good?
Y'all good was the response. Y'all good? Oh, that's cold. So there is a language of social media now. I mean, I only just learned the phrase subtweet a couple of weeks ago, so this is all new to me.
From Brett Stevens?
Yeah, no. but it is handy now because of Brett Stevens. And y'all good is like what is the phrase? It's not it's kind of like a subtweet too, but it's like God, I don't
It's
like a backhanded burn.
Yeah, backhanded burn.
But it's only by inference. Like you can't tell that they're talking to.
It's so clever.
Shade.
It's shade.
Shade.
Yeah.
After that subtweet, Chick-fil-A went quiet. But hashtag chicken sandwich wars rose to the top.
It's darn good.
What a
my
world.
cardiologist was not pleased, but it's
what
darn
a world
good.
we live in.
I will say that my daughter and her friends are amazed that I speak, quote unquote, their language, but I don't. I only speak what I learn on Twitter, right? So the time I spend on social media is mostly what allows me to, quote unquote, speak the language of the youngs. And there's lots of research. A lot of the language on Twitter goes back to Black Twitter and African Americans, and we just kind of all co-opt it. And it's a really interesting.
But can I tell you, that's from the beginning of the world.
Well, yes.
Jazz, rock and roll.
Coolio, Daddy-O.
I mean, yeah, all the jazz speak.
Groovy.
It's you know what? The most creative sector of America. I'm going to extend it. I was going to say is African Americans. It's immigrants. It's the subcultures that rise up under repression to create, and it's us white men that reap the benefit when we capitalize on it with ad tech.
And teens are the most creative.
Teens are great. Teens are great.
And they use whatever outlet they can use to be subversive, and God bless them for it.
That's the point. Is they're trying to create something that the olds don't know, don't understand, can't get.
Like Snap.
Y'all good? I like y'all good. I'll be using that. That is a good phrase. The passive-aggressive chicken sandwich debate, as one news article put it.
And meanwhile, there was the rush on the fake chicken at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
They don't use
I didn't have a segue ready. I was like scrolling up to try to get us to a Google story.
All right.
It didn't work. I was like,
let me do an ad. Let me do an ad so we can regroup. Although I'm kind of curious about what.
It's just like the Burger King fake meat. They have
Shake Shack said
fake chicken.
Shake Shack said we have a chicken sandwich without the beef. Good, huh? That's good. That's good marketing.
Can't look like
how to drive
marketing,
Stacey up the wall. I thought this was a home for geeks and nerds.
It is very nerdy. Let's take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to do more. We're going to give Stacey a chance to regroup and find that Google story. Meanwhile, Jeff and I will talk about weird punctuation. No, actually, we're going to talk about Monday.com, our sponsor. Monday.com helps teams manage work and meet deadlines. But I love what's going on at Monday.com. We started using it. I love it. It builds a culture of transparency. No mystery. Everybody knows what's going on. We all work better together. And because it's so easy to use, it's so easy to put all your core business activities in one place. Everything from things like high-level roadmaps to very specific day-to-day tasks. 65,000 teams are using Monday.com and loving it. It's one of those things where once you start using it, you go, how do we ever do without this? You start with these great templates, although you can also build a board from scratch. Either way, you're going to tailor it to exactly what you need. You automate workflows. You can have reminders. You can have notifications. You can upload files from Dropbox or Google Drive or even right from your computer. And it doesn't matter if it's a team of 2 or a team of 2,000. It's perfect for any team of any size and collaborating all over the world. We're all distributed teams these days, and this is so great. No more whiteboards, meetings, no more Excel files. It's all in there. There's no mystery. But the flexibility of this platform, the capabilities of this platform, make it the best tool you've ever used for getting things done. Monday.com keeps you on track. Families use it too, by the way. You can create accountability by assigning owners to keep track of who's doing what. Your My Week will tell you exactly what you need to do this week. You'll never miss a deadline. It's a personal assistant in a way for you and for your team. Stay in control anywhere you go. If you haven't tried it, you've got to try it. Monday.com and the mobile app means you take it with you always. Monday, just like the day of the week.com. And of course, we've got a 14-day free trial for you. I have to say, don't if you got a busy day, wait till tonight and set it up. Because once you start playing with it, you're going to and you're going to end up creating this beautiful, thing. It's so great. Monday.com, 14-day free trial for you if you go to monday.com/twig. 2-week trial. Monday.com/twig, absolutely free. And you'll find the pricing at Monday very reasonable, very easy to support. Monday.com/twig. Thank you, Monday, for making our Mondays a lot better.
All right, I found a good story for you.
Okay, Stace.
It's got everything. It's got infrastructure financing. It's got Google. It's got Internet of Things. And it's got private equity. So, the Wall Street Journal did a story about Google Alphabet's subsidiary, Sidewalk Labs, getting together with the Ontario Teachers' Pension Plan to launch an infrastructure holding company.
Now, Sidewalk Labs is controversial because it's building this so-called smart city in part of Toronto down by the waterfront that some people say is just a big invasion of privacy.
It's a big invasion of privacy, and the citizens who live there won't have much decision to talk about it. What is really or should be pretty controversial about this is this new infrastructure investment company. It's not a fund. It's going to be its own company that is going to lend money for civic infrastructure. So things like roadways or advanced water treatment plants. What's crazy to me, and I used to be a government bond reporter, you guys.
What? Wow.
They're going to invest in these projects for cities, but they're going to choose the technology used, and they're going to take a stake in that technology. So if the government were doing this, we would call that corruption, because the government would be like, hey, we're going to pick this vendor. If they didn't do an RFP process, I should say that. And if they also had an investment in the company they chose through that RFP process. You mean
like if you owned the golf course where the vice president stayed in Ireland?
Yeah, it actually
like
looks
that?
A lot like something like that.
Okay.
Except think investments in technology to improve your roads or to improve your water infrastructure.
There is a long history of pension plans, teachers' pension plans, CalPERS.
Yes, and they investing in this sort of thing.
It's a good investment, and it's good for the state, and it's a good investment for the teachers.
Yes and no. So there are plenty of so pension funds actually are really stuck in a bind because they're trying to diversify out of just VC funds, because those are getting later and later stage into other places. And it's becoming more competitive to get into high performing funds because there's so many other funds trying to get into them. Mm-hmm. It's analogous to something like, I don't know how to say it, Macquarie. Do you guys know that fund? It's a giant infrastructure financing group, MACQUARIE. And they fund things like toll roads. But when they fund something, they don't take a stake in the company whose technology is going to be part of that.
Oh, so you're saying there's a conflict of interest here. Because
there's a
now
potential conflict.
The Ontario Teachers Union is a part owner of the company that's doing the infrastructure.
Right.
Although that's how they profit. Right?
Okay, but yes. But as they finance these things, I mean, these are projects that are designed to be, and this also will depend on how you feel about things like governments.
Well, would you feel differently if it weren't the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan, if it were just me?
Oh, no. The problem I have is with the infrastructure company that's financing these projects. Sidewalk, and the company they've created is taking a technology stake in the company, or is taking a financial stake in a company that they're choosing to implement the technology that's part of the project.
Instead of having an open bidding process. But
yes.
Isn't that a better vetting process? If I'm going to take a stake, I'm going to do due diligence.
Feels kind of like insider kind of dealing. I mean, I am very suspicious. I feel like that as a reporter, I would want to see all the records of something like this, especially when it goes in. But it is something that is clearly happening. So enough people are like, well, I don't know if this is a bad thing.
I would think that if I'm putting my pension fund in a technology company, that I'm going to even be more careful to make sure that they're up and going to make money for us. Infrastructure's hot right now.
Yeah, are you funding infrastructure or are you funding new tech? And
both.
If you're funding but if you're funding infrastructure, your goal is to have it be awesome for the long term.
Right.
Right?
Right.
If you're funding tech that is built into this infrastructure, I don't feel like these should not be part of the same.
You know what the real problem is? I think is the short-term thinking. It's the mismatch between tech, which is going to be on quarterly returns, versus infrastructure, where you're talking, I want 20 years, 30 years. This infrastructure's got to cut. This bridge has to stand for 100 years. And so the mismatch, it's another case of a duration mismatch, where the tech company's only looking at, well, how much money can I make in the next 3 months? Is that the problem?
No, I guess nobody sees this as a problem.
Yeah, you're the only one.
I'm going to... Yeah, okay.
She was just trying to do anything to distract from chicken.
No, I think this is a really big deal, and I'm not explaining it well, and that's because I'm a writer, not a talker. So I'll work on it.
I'm trying to figure out the circle there.
I really want
Carson
to be
Bondi.
Stacey explained over whether or not USB 4 is going to fix the USB-C problem.
This is how bad it's gotten. Now Karsten's trying to distract us.
Oh no, please don't make
Are
me
you
talk
all
like
up
this.
on USB 4?
God, I just want something to stay the same. I'm all up on USB-C dongles.
You're getting old,
we don't need more.
Stacey. That's a sign of getting old.
No, it's not. It's a sign of I'm fine with technological advancement. I am not fine with things killed, like ports being killed by backwards incompatibility.
How about
Especially
this?
when it's happening every year on devices I have to keep for 3 or 4 years.
If they're uniting Thunderbolt 3 and USB under USB 4, will we eventually be able to buy a USB-C cable
at Taco Bell
without checking whether it can deliver power, whether it's Thunderbolt capable, whether it's...
Are you nuts?
I just want the USB 4 standard to be a standard and not a quote standard.
Right.
The problem,
if it does that, I'm all on board.
It won't, and I'll tell you why. Because it's downward compatible. So you'll never be able to look at a port and know what its capabilities are, because it's got to support everything. So you'll still be able to look at a port that might just be USB 3.1 and Type C, or maybe this one delivered.
They are keeping the connector.
Yes, that's
so
the
your
problem.
USB-C works.
That's the problem. You can't inspect the connector and say, I know what this does. And that's the whole problem. It's never going to get better. So good luck, Karsten. And we were talking about this on Windows Weekly because Microsoft has, for reasons no one fully understands, on its Surface, puts Type-C connectors but doesn't support Thunderbolt with them. In fact, only recently supports charging with them. In fact, they only recently put them on at all. So, and then the rumor is with Microsoft is going to have an announcement October 2nd of new Surface devices, and I think our experts, Mary Jo Foley and Paul Thurrott on Windows Weekly, both agree, don't hold your breath for Thunderbolt support on the new Surface devices, which just keeps us in this silly, downward spiral. And there you go. Yep. There's an XKCD for everything. By the way, I felt kind of bad. We had a great interview with Randall Monroe on Friday on triangulation, the creator of XKCD.
That's why I just put that screen up, so you can plug it now.
Yeah, you should tune it in. But I just wanted to tell you, we did the interview shortly before it was revealed that his forums had been hacked and all the information leaked. I hope they weren't related events. So Randall's scrambling a little bit today, all week, because they've had to shut down their forums on the xkcd.com site.
Whatever happened with the Joey Ito interview?
Canceled because the Media Lab has decided to defer publish of his book until he is less of a hot property.
But everybody should still go to twit.tv/try and watch the Randall Monroe XKCD.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I get to do it with my daughter. She loves that man.
Isn't he great? And you know, she will like him even more when she realizes what a sweetheart he is. He's kind of what you would hope. It's kind of neat.
It's not going to have any bearing with my daughter.
No, I mean, he's just like...
She is a dark individual right now.
She's
13.
Grow! He was surprisingly, I don't want to say naive, but innocent, sweet. Really a great guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. It was such a thrill. Danny Sullivan kind of caught in the middle in an unusual position. He is the founder, of course, of Search Engine Land and Marketing Engine Land. Went to Google. He's in a little Twitter battle with DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo tweets, most people know companies like Google and Facebook collect and sell your data, yet some people think, so what? I have nothing to hide. Here's 5 compelling reasons to tell them why your privacy is worth more than you think, kind of a la this conversation we just had. Hyper-targeted ads, propaganda, and discrimination. The filter bubble. User data is saved and shared with third parties. User data is sold to advertisers. Danny Sullivan responded, well, regarding the filter bubble claim, we don't at Google manipulate your search results based on what we think you'll click on, nor are search results different from someone doing the exact same search at the exact same time as the video claims. And he said, another tweet this week, DuckDuckGo claimed Google had a filter bubble. I feel bad for Danny, because do you think Danny wants to be in this situation? We used to have him on, of course, all the time. I love Danny. Once he went to work for Google, we kind of backed off.
I keep asking him to be on again.
Thank you.
And he keeps saying, I really want to be on, but I'm far too busy.
Man,
Ask again in 3 months.
Google may not.
I've watched Danny at events like Newsgeist, where Danny takes glee. Some would say too much, but I would disagree. I love watching him because he takes glee in telling people where they're wrong.
Well, and he's right about the filter bubble issue, right?
And by the way, here's another book to recommend, just received. Are Filter Bubbles Real by Axel Bruns? Guess what the conclusion is?
No.
And I've read his papers, and I just got this.
Sullivan points to a new tool that automatically deletes location, history, and activity data. He says, I work for Google Search to help provide information about how we operate, so I'm only speaking to the part that's in my area, the filter bubble part. But somewhat related, we do have new tools that let people automatically delete data, and so I'm going to click on that link. Auto-delete controls for your location, history, and activity data. This came out in May, so we did report it at that time in the changelog, but you could turn off. You can say once an activity is older than 3 months old, you can delete it. And that's all built into my activity. So keep for 3 months, 18 months until I delete manually. That's better than nothing. 3 months is maybe some would say too long. I have a Firefox browser that I use on iPhone and Android called Focus that deletes the data as soon as you log out. In fact, I even get a notification on my phone that says, click this to delete all your erase browsing history. And so it just pops up after I use it. So there are ways to be a little more proactive, I guess, but not in Google land.
No, not in Google land. And it's hard. It's hard work when you move from the Google world, everything is very convenient. And then you have to piece this sort of functionality together using a couple different sites, and you're never going to get quite there. So, and you have to remind yourself constantly, like, oh, I'm supposed to do this. It's tough.
I'm not an Instagram user. Did Instagram follow up on deleting the accounts?
I didn't notice. I do use Instagram.
So apparently Facebook says, yes, it may do the same. Start hiding like accounts. I think there's a lot to be said for the fact that like accounts do drive a certain amount of
weird behavior.
Weird behavior, yeah.
But I think, but I don't. In most cases, it doesn't.
No,
some
normal
cases,
people look at likes and go, "Oh, look, I got 12 likes." But it can become addictive, right?
Well, what also I like to do sometimes is on some things, I'll see someone surprising liked something, and I want to see who all liked it.
Yeah,
only
that's
because
good.
I think, oh, I didn't know they cared about that. That's interesting.
So there is information there. So this, I guess Instagram is testing it in 7 countries, not necessarily yours. And Facebook says now we're going to do the same. We're going to try it. Test it. Not live for all users. Test it. And Facebook declined to share results from its hiding tests, its exact motives, or any schedule for starting testing. But I think that's an interesting idea. It's like hiding follower counts on Twitter. It would very much change the platform, wouldn't it?
But, when I started blogging, I looked at my traffic every day. I cared about it deeply. And then after a time, I just didn't give a darn anymore. And the same for all the metrics that exist out there. I just don't care.
But you're not trying to sell anything. I mean, I can say as someone who I personally do not care, but as someone who's accountable to advertisers or who has been accountable to advertisers and editors, those things matter. And if you're an influencer,
would you be opposed to getting rid of them, Stacey? Would you be opposed to getting rid of those?
I think people could then. I think it's nice to hide that kind of stuff. I think it does drive people to behave, to do it for the likes kind of thing. And I think it also would make it harder to be one of those influencers because you wouldn't have a way of necessarily tracking that. I think there's a lot of repercussions there, but I'd be for it.
I just generally think that playing whack-a-mole with information is not always a good strategy, and I tend to like more transparency. I think we can present it.
Likes are so silly. I mean, there's bots. There's no I mean, yeah, it's transparent, but it's stupid transparency. It's like showing someone. I think, yeah.
It's like drawing on a map of the hurricane's path with your Sharpie to expand it into Alabama. It's like that. Is that what you're saying? This is not, that has nothing to do with anything. This is the original chart.
Not related to this at all.
The important thing is that with his mind alone, he changed the path of the hurricane.
As Marianne Williamson, apparently, we got to give full credit. As Marianne Williamson suggested that the power of the mind can deter. She's running for president too. So
she deleted a tweet that said,
"Millions of us seeing Dorian turn away from land is not a wacky idea. It's a creative use of the power of the mind. 2 minutes of prayer, visualization, and meditation for those in the way of the storm." But as you know, no tweets are ever deleted on the Twitter.
You can delete your tweets.
Yeah, but they've been
somebody's found
somebody's saved them.
Oh, okay. I was like, well.
Yeah, you could delete them, but they live on.
Yeah,
so then Yashar Ali from I think from Huffington Post tweeted that she had erased it, and then she went on an attack against him. All he said was she'd erased it. And so then she defends herself from not being crazy. But if you have to defend yourself from not being crazy, well,
you've already lost.
You've already lost. I am not crazy. I am not. Let me quickly talk about my beautiful white teeth. This is not crazy. This is not crazy. This is thanks to the Crest 3D whitening kit. I would, at the health club. I was just at the health club this morning doing my workout, and they're for $199. They will whiten your teeth. I thought, well, I don't need that. I've got my Crest white kit. This is amazing. It's 100% guaranteed. It removes over 10 years of tough set-in stains, coffee, wine, smoking, to give you noticeably whiter teeth. It's really easy to use. I've been using it. I love it. In fact, it's really I time it with my show. So right now it's Succession. Here's what they look like. I'll just show you. I'll give you an example. It's safe on your enamel. This is exactly the same ingredients the dentist uses for much, much higher price. It's hydrogen peroxide. Okay, that's all it is. And it comes in these nice adhesive strips. There's no messy gels or trays. It's very simple. I'm going to do it right now. I'm just going to show you. So before my show begins, I put the strip on the top and the bottom of my teeth, and I just sit and I watch the show for about 1 hour. You could talk, you could drink water. It's just happening in the background, completely safe on your enamel. And then when it's done, you get this. This really is the pièce de résistance. You get the LED blue light to help target stains so the ingredients work faster and better than the white strips alone. This is also what dentists use. You put the LED light right there, you turn it on, you see it's glowing, and that's timed as well. And when it turns off, you're done. You're done. $20 off your first Crest 3D whitening strip kit by going to crestwhitesmile.com. Use the promo code TWIG at checkout for $20 off, and that includes free shipping. This really works. And I know you're probably tempted when you see the ads, at your health club or your dentist says, come on, come in. But wait till you see the price the dentist wants, and wait till you see how little it costs to get it done. In your own home, in the comforts and convenience of your own home, completely safely with the Crest 3D white strips. I've been using these, and I don't know if you've noticed, but I look 10 years younger. It's true. Well, I can't promise you that. You might only look 5 years younger. CrestWhiteSmile.com, promo code TWIG. These are great, and you get $20 off right now. It's a good deal. I'll put my white strips away for another day. The next episode of Succession. As long as there's a good TV show on, I will always have white teeth. That's my promise to you.
So I wish Kevin were on the show because there's a story about these Chromebooks dying early.
Yeah, what's the story there?
And I don't know. I was going to ask you guys because I saw this and I was like, what? That sucks.
They are cheaper, computers.
Yeah,
so
but
I'm not surprised. Android Police blames Google. I don't know how you could blame Google.
Yeah, it's just you get what you pay for.
It's a netbook. You nailed it.
Yeah.
If you're paying $200 for a laptop, it's not going to last as long. My Pixels
by
last
dying
fine.
early, do they mean that the hardware is bad? Then how do you blame Google for that? By dying early, do they mean it doesn't get updated?
Well, there is so the hardware platform is developed by Google, the motherboard. So, as Android Police says, the CTL Chromebook Tab TX1 and the Asus CT100 both use the Scarlett baseboard.
And I think part of their issue is some of these devices are shipping, but they're going to ship with less support than what was promised because they were actually built in support, the clock on support for their internals and Chrome, their internals.
When they promise 6 years of update, it's 6 years from when that
implementation
platform was
not
released.
Purchased.
Yeah. The support cycle begins when Google completes the hardware platform.
Which kind of sucks, but I also kind of get it because you can buy a machine.
Well, who keeps the computer for, that's a really interesting question is how long do you keep your laptop? How long do you expect? Is it every 3 years, every 5 years?
Well, they point out if you go to Amazon, you search for best Chromebooks, you'll see the Asus Flip C302, which is a great machine, but it is 2 years old. So it's well into that life cycle and only has 3 years of update left. Now, I have to point out, there are people on Microsoft Windows who are going to be out of life a year and a half because they can't update from Windows 10 1803, which is the spring update last year for various hardware reasons. And 1803 goes out of service. You're not going to get updates if you don't upgrade in a few months. And that's less than 2 years. That's pretty darn quick.
That sucks.
Yeah.
So this is not, in the business, this is not unusual. Apple will only update to Catalina, that's new operating system coming out next month probably, systems that came out after 2012. I mean, that's 7 years ago, but it's just what happens. It's not unusual.
To answer your question, Stacey, I hold on to a laptop only until Google gives us the next one.
So you're on the Pixelbook.
You guys are a little abnormal.
But our Pixelbooks are in great shape right now. These were $1,000 laptops, and they're all working well. Who is it comes in? I think it's Ian Thompson comes in with the first Pixelbook. And he said, yeah, it's really on its last legs. But that thing is how many years old? That's pretty old.
You mean not
the
Pixel.
My
slate
last
gray,
MacBook
the
was
slate gray Pixel.
5 years.
Yeah.
The brand was different. What was it?
I don't remember, but the one that's kind of gray metal, dark gray metal, not the newer, lighter ones. They did 2 generations of that one, then they came out with the new Pixel books.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I agree. This article says something has to change. I think this is pretty par for the course.
I would like, and I think this is really important given security threats, that every connected device, be it your phone, which actually already has it, comes with a sticker that explains when support for that OS or whatever it's running on runs out. That's
a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it should have not 6 years from date. It should have a June 2020. And
I guess
people can then.
That's why I'm more sanguine about the Chromebooks, because these Android phones, something like 40% of all Android phones are still on Lollipop. So Lollipop. So that's where there's a real problem. These devices are not secure anymore. They're not getting updated.
But it is tough. I mean, it's not like the average person doesn't necessarily know to look for security update supports. Like I look it up, and like the other day, the reason why we updated my daughter's phone is actually because Apple announced that they weren't going to do patches for iPhone 6s anymore, and that's what she's on. And so that precipitated a change, but otherwise she'd probably still be on that phone.
There is a certain kind of, in my day, we kept a TV for 12 years. We kept a car for 15. My refrigerator.
This isn't that, though.
It's not that anymore.
This is just me saying consumers need to have.
They should know.
Yeah. If you're gonna build tech into a device, you should know how long that tech is going to be.
And we have to kind of understand it's not going to last as long as your car and TV used to. It's just not. So I'm sitting there on Friday interviewing Randall Monroe, ex-KCD, and all of a sudden people come running in and say, Jack Dorsey's Twitter account has been hacked. Again. This is, who cares? But it was the chuckling. It was the chuckling.
The same people today hacked Hit Girls.
Oh, shocking. Now I'm upset.
What is Hit Girls?
Sorry, Hit Girl. I call her Hit Girl because I can't say her name.
Khloe Kardashian?
Khloe Grace Moretz. Is that how you say her name? I don't know.
Is this on Twitter?
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Hit Girl from that other superhero movie.
No idea what other people are talking about. So she was hacked on Twitter?
Her Twitter account was hacked, yes, by the same people.
So we think that Jack's account was hacked by what we call SIM jacking, which is absolutely a problem in the world. People pretending to be Jack Dorsey called his phone company and basically hijacked his cell phone number. And Jack had been using a service Twitter acquired 9 years ago called CloudHopper, which lets you tweet from your phone via text message. It does not authenticate you, though. It looks at your phone number and says, oh, that's Jack Dorsey. Go ahead, post the tweet. And since they had his phone number, they were able to tweet as Jack Dorsey for about 15 minutes before they got shut down.
So is that a weakness of the phone system or of Twitter?
It's a very big weakness of the phone system. SIM swapping is a real problem. The
flip side to that is, the flip side, though, if you make it too much more difficult, people complain to the phone system because they can't recover their accounts. This is hard.
Mm-hmm. Twitter has decided to disable SMS tweeting as a result.
Which was the whole beginning of the company.
That's right. It was what it was for originally. Was SMS messages.
So it's entirely disabled now.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like a draconian response to having your CEOs.
Do you know anyone who ever actually used SMS tweeting?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
And you can also, in the early days, you can have incoming tweets via SMS, which really could be a lot of tweets.
Yeah, I did all my Twitter via SMS in the beginning.
Yeah. I didn't do all of it, but I definitely did a bunch of it via SMS.
40404. That was the short code.
So speaking of Jack Dorsey, I've got another question for you.
Yes.
I put a link up in the chat, in the not in the chat, but in the rundown.
Yes, I see it.
It's a fashion question.
Jack Dorsey's
the far right picture,
footwear?
Not the shoes. I don't care about the shoes. The far right picture, Jack's long hoodie. You think
I
I
want
could
to see a
pull that
fashion
off?
question.
This? You want
Where?
to wear
So
this because it's all black.
The far right one.
You like all
You think
black.
I could pull that off? You think I could pull that off? The long hoodie,
Absolutely.
Which, this one?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Is that a
far right.
hoodie?
Yeah, this
the
one.
hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
Definitely.
He
Okay.
looks...
Anybody couldn't.
His head looks oddly large in that outfit. Doesn't his head look too big for his body in that outfit?
It's either the camera angle or he's trying to be a supermodel. Who knows? I think it's the camera angle and his beard and his hair. His beard adds length and his hair adds like.
Oh, that's
pop.
it.
And the shadow behind his head also.
That's
doesn't
it.
help.
You're right. It's a trick, a trompe-l'oeil, a trick of the eye. Why is he holding a hammer with Justin Bieber? That's what I want to know. What's that all about?
Habitat.
If I had a hammer. So, yes, this was an article on Mashable about Jack Dorsey's footwear evolution and investigation. So if you ever complain about the kinds of things we cover on Twig,
I know, Mashable.
it could be worse.
Hey,
We have
no,
talked about
that is a
my-
legit topic. I don't know what you're talking about. I
We've
love
talked
fashion
about my
stories.
Austrian shoes on the show, the Geesbein.
The geese fine.
Oh yeah, I was like, didn't we talk about like Allbirds or something? But yes, the key's fine.
Yes, we did. It's a weird, the problem is, folks, I before the show, I looked and I said, weird week on the rundown.
It
Like
is
back
weird.
from the holiday, there was nothing that kind of just screamed, talk about me here.
It is,
The fine was good. The Google's cookie syncing or super cookies is good. We could do the Google changelog.
it's time for...
Oh, you got him, Stacey. Good work. Good
Oh,
work.
sorry, Karsten.
The Google changelog.
When I was actually in the studio, I saw that poor Carson has to like hit 5 buttons, hold his elbow, and dance to get that to happen.
I want to point out, he doesn't have to. He might, but he's not required to. It's not part of the overall. Is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. All he has to
It
do.
is. I have to turn up the TriCaster audio. I have to push the button. I have to make sure it's selected up here. It's a
I'm
thing.
exhausted just thinking about
It's
it.
a thing.
I want to go home.
Is
Take
there not a
nap.
macro we could build for you?
there's-
Or that
There are TDs here who are better at doing that part of the job.
This is not what we heard.
But this is
Karsten.
this is not. It's something that my hands don't do well.
It's, again, an artifact of my vanity and hubris that I thought we should do streaming video of these shows when it's completely unnecessary.
Like
that's
yeah,
true
it's all
because
kinds
Kevin
of
and I
costs.
get requests for it. Like 6 people have asked Kevin and I. Only 6.
Like I am
And we're
capable
like-
of writing down every single topic we talk about as we talk about them.
He's doing
and-
that right now.
And time code. No other TD can do that.
That's true. You're
But-
exceptional at that.
But I can't bring up videos. For some reason, I am incapable of bringing up videos. Like that's just something I can't do as a
Can
TD.
we make a?
Like, and all the other
Let's
TDs
take-
don't have a problem with
Let's
that.
take one of those that was easy staples buttons, and make it a changelog button. And
If
just
we
give
could
it-
do that, that would be awesome.
Google planning big changes to the way Chrome tabs work. Adrian Kingsley Hughes of ZDNet writes, but you might not notice. Google's planning to carry out a major decluttering of tab options that users are presented when they right-click on a tab in the Chrome browser. The options used to be new tab, close other tabs, reopen closed window, bookmark all tabs, play the Google changelog theme. Those are now gone, at least in Canary. But I bet no one notices. So, I mean, it's a change. And so, hence, it's in the Google changelog. Any questions? Google Camera they made a smart trade-off on the Pixel 3, and you may notice this on your brand new Pixel 3. When you look
It's on
for
the 3A2.
it's on what? The 3A.
It is on the 3A.
Yes,
I have
yes.
the 3A.
When you look for Smart Burst, it's gone. You'll find instead Top Shot. It's not exactly the same, but it's close enough that I don't think anybody's going to really care about this one either.
Top Shot is awesome.
You can only get a few, you don't want to have too many choices in there, right? So Google has decided to focus on the development of Top Shot, which, it takes a number of pictures and then suggests the one that nobody's blinking in.
It does the same thing Smart Burst did. It takes like 15 pictures at once, and then it automatically picks the thing it thinks is the best, but then you can go back to it and scroll through those 15 pictures and say, no, I think.
So what did Smart Burst do?
Kind of the same thing, basically.
So they had two things that did the same thing, and they've decided to get rid of one of them.
What? Google?
What? Why wouldn't they do that with messaging?
Yeah, they should.
There was a messaging story, and we didn't talk about it. Man.
Yeah, hold on. We're not done yet. Okay. It could happen. I'm not saying it will. It just could. So you can't. Smart Burst did not let you manually set burst size.
Yeah, Smart Burst was only it only decided for you.
Yeah, and you could create animated GIFs with it. Yeah.
It automatically created GIFs and automatically picked things for you.
But apparently, I imagine they have
better control.
I imagine they have telemetry, so apparently nobody wanted it. That's if you have an older Pixel phone, you could continue to have Smart Burst because Top Shots can't be done on an older phone. But Pixel 3, 3XL, and I presume 3A that you just got for your daughter will have now.
No. The 3A is for me. The 2 is for her.
Oh, well, she will still have Smart Burst. So if you need Smart Burst, you should run on over and borrow her phone.
Maybe we'll take some pictures using both and see what the difference is.
There you go. Would you do that for us? Here's something for Stacey. The TensorFlow machine learning framework for graphical data. There was a bunch of words in there. I knew the meaning of each individual one, but not the total sentence it makes. So today, Google introduced Neural Structured Learning, an open source framework that uses the neural graph learning method for training neural networks with graphs and structured data. It works with the TensorFlow machine learning platform and is made to work for both experienced and inexperienced machine learning practitioners.
You can throw a bunch of charts and visual data, I believe, charts and structured data at the TensorFlow framework or whatever it is, and it will tell you what you need to know.
Chew it up and spit out intelligence.
Something like that.
New logos, rebranding for Android Auto, Android One, and Android TV. Again, another change you're just not going to really care about or notice.
Even the changelog.
Is anemic.
Post-holiday week.
It's a weirdly
Wait, there's actually some cool stuff.
Okay.
Or Stacey keeps trying.
No, you guys, this is actually cool. So your Pixel phone now actually can work with certain select hearing aids.
This is an Android 10. This is an Android 10, yeah.
So that's
a cool nice feature. I actually use my Resound hearing aids on an iPhone because it has those are MFI hearing aids, and so it's great because you could be walking around with your hearing aids in, listening to an audiobook, and no one knows any better, or a baseball game or music.
What are you listening to now, Leo?
Wouldn't you like to know? So that's a feature that iPhones had for some time. They have a lot of nice hearing aid technology. Android has been kind of hit or miss, but this is a nice feature of Android 10. Yeah, we could. You know what? You're right. We did not put Android 10 into the changelog. We probably should, because frankly, the next changelog is equally dumb, which is Google Play Store.
I've got another good changelog.
Starts auto playing videos later this month. Woohoo!
That is dumb.
Whoopity-doo. Right. Okay, give us a better one.
Gmail on G Suite, so only G Suite, I think, can tell if you set an out in office and someone tries to email you, and I think is it only your coworkers? I'm a little unclear on that. It would be better if it's anyone. And when you start to email them, Google will be like, yo, that person's on vacation. Yo. And then it'll be like, oh, I shouldn't send them a message. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. I don't know how it works.
Get the damn vacation OOOs.
Wait a minute. If you're wait a minute, let me get this straight. Because what I really need is if I'm on vacation, I can't send any email because I already set my vacation reminder. That's not what you're talking about.
It's gonna let you set. No, it's if I were going to email you and you had set your email
It will know,
YouTube-
and it'll say, no, don't even bother. He's out.
Exactly.
Yeah, nice.
So for some people, that means they will actually get fewer emails.
Finally, something in the change log.
Well, what I care about is I get fewer OOOs.
And you, Jeff, will get fewer
I
OOOs.
can't stand that. I did see another change today. I updated Chrome, and then it said it went to the. I did two things. One, it said there was a new sign-in for the admin of all of my accounts from one page. I had to update them. And then two, I went to calendar, and it said, "Oh, we can show everybody who you shared your calendar with your normal working days." I said, "No, don't do that." So it can know when they can bug you. No, don't do that. I said, Google, no. But it was new. It's changelog.
That would out me in a lot of ways.
Yeah,
like
same here.
My working hours are not necessarily the working hours you might expect me to have.
Google Calendar, speaking of working hours, makes working hours more prominent. Wait a minute, is this what you were just talking about?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes, it is.
Speaking of what you were just
I'm
speaking
double
of,
dipping on the Google changelog. Just trying to fill it out.
Is that in the changelog?
No, it's not.
We were a little
it should
ruminating.
have been, but somebody didn't put it in.
I didn't
wait,
put
that was
any.
me.
I didn't put anything in the changelog this week. I was so lazy.
No, I didn't.
I was so
I should
lazy.
have caught that one too.
That's a good one. Working hours. Okay.
All right. Well, we may have achieved all of our goals with this show so far.
We
I don't know.
have finished the Google changelog. It is done.
Thank goodness.
It is done. It is done. Are there any other stories before we go to the bottom and get our picks of the week? Any other stories that we have missed that you fellas, and I mean by fellas, you guys.
You shouldn't say fella or guys anymore.
What do you say?
Y'all.
Y'all. That y'all.
Can we use dudes? I like dudes.
No, I hate
Nope.
dudes.
Nope.
I hate
Nope.
dudes.
Dudes is not gendered. Damn it.
Y'all.
It is gendered,
Y'all.
actually, Carson.
You know why? We don't have in English a collective you. Our you is
We have y'all.
We have
used
y'all.
to be used to be thee and thou. But now we got you and y'all.
You and y'all, yes, y'all.
Used to be
Y'all
thee
should
and
be
thou.
used
It's now
by
ye and y'all. Okay.
Isn't you a collective you?
It is
You guys,
you and
I am
you.
hungry.
It's undistinguished. You see what I'm saying? It's just you and you.
Hungry.
In French,
Forever time.
it's in French it's tu and vous, but in English it's you and you, unless you use y'all. And y'all, I am ready to wrap this out.
Y'all good? Y'all good?
Y'all good?
Well, I got a question for you. Should AOC, if Trump legally cannot block people because he's the president of the United States on Twitter,
Isn't a member of Congress just is the same thing?
but she's getting horribly harassed by some really awful
Well, don't you
characters.
think President Trump is getting horribly harassed?
He doesn't read the Twitter?
Well, so that's not neither here nor
She
there.
actually responds, should it be the law that she can't block someone? Should that be the case? Is that a legitimate
Well,
view?
didn't the court rule that
You should
President
be able
Trump
to
could
block-
not?
Yeah, but you should be able to block people who are sending you incredibly offensive
You should,
content.
and I should, and
No, even a
Professor
member of
Jarvis
Congress.
should. But a member of
No.
Congress has a right, has an
Even
obligation to
Trump
listen
could
to
block
response.
people if there's maybe when
Well, he's
you're a
not
member
allowed
of
to.
Congress. I get that, but what I'm saying is, what if you had before you could block someone, you had to prove that they were horrifying, and you would go to maybe it's a federal judge. They're not doing anything else, right?
Well,
let's add a little
closed
thing
internet
in here,
courts.
because according to Roland in our chat room, she does not block anybody from her district, abusive or not. She only blocks people who are not her constituents. That changes it a little bit, doesn't it?
That might be legal.
I think she has the right to block people who are not her constituency.
Yes.
The thing about the president is we're all his constituency, but she is an elected representative from the Bronx, so she should not be able to block constituency. They should have the right to speak to her, but nobody else. I think that
There
works.
you go, an answer. Thank you. That's what I wanted.
The
Thank you, Roland.
problem is then she has to track who's
true.
tweeting at her.
That's true.
prove
So
whether
that
or
means
not
Well, she's
there's
only
somebody-
blocked like 7 people.
Yeah.
like
So she has to track who's an a-hole. That's a little easier.
But maybe they're in her constituency. I don't know.
But there's 7 people she's got to figure out. They're Russians anyway.
Are they Russians? Really?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Oh, yeah.
Well, she should be able to block anybody from outside the U.S. And any sock puppets or bots, she should be able to block them. They should have to be real people. Oh, well, I don't have to worry about that. Let's take a break. And oh, there goes Stacey. I knew she wasn't going to make it through the whole show.
We grabbed her out.
We're going to be back.
Let's do an ad and I'll get her back.
That's the saddest sound in the world, isn't
Chicken
it?
sandwich
The Skype
and grammar.
hang
was
up.
much for her.
We will come back with your picks of the week, and maybe if we can get Stacey back, her thing of the week. But first, a word from Epson. This is my pick of the week. You can kiss expensive ink cartridges goodbye. Epson's EcoTank wireless color printers, they're all-in-ones, have super tanks with up to 2 years of ink in the tank. It comes with the printer, enough to print thousands of pages. And then when you go to the store to get more ink, and these bottles are great because they're keyed, you can't misuse them. They only can fit, and it's easy to use. You get another 2 years of ink. So when you go to the store in 2021 to get more ink, you could say, I'll see you in 2023. I love this. We have 2 at home. I like them so much. With the supersized, easy-to-fill ink tanks, EcoTank printers mean fewer trips to the store, less frustration for you. Epson wants your printing experience to be stress-free and easy. And, I like Epson. I've always had a thing for Epson because my first printer was an Epson. Remember the dot matrix printers? And they've just gotten better and better, and these EcoTank printers are so sweet. I probably do as much scanning with my EcoTank as I do printing. It's so awesome. Get the compact EcoTank printer for your home or office with that big tank so you could just fill and chill. Check out Epson.com/EcoTankLeo to transform the way your home or office prints and do away with out-of-ink frustration. Just like Shaq says, fill and chill. For the best combination of ease and value, turn to the Epson EcoTank printers. Now through September 30th, just in time to get back to school, you'll get free overnight shipping when you use the promo code EcoTankLeo at checkout. For any EcoTank printer, offer valid within the 48 contiguous states. Exclusions apply subject to availability. EPSON, Epson.com/EcoTankLeo. Epson and I go way, way back. I bet you too. I mean, I bet you, most of you, the early days, your printers were Epsons. They're still the best. Epson EcoTank printers. Just fill and chill. Epson, exceed your vision. Thank you, Epson, for supporting This Week in Google.
Speaking of Epson printers, I was standing there in the airport, as I do a lot, and I'm looking at the folks behind the counter at the gate.
Yeah.
And of course, they have a dot matrix printer there, spewing out the passenger list and stuff, right? Where the heck do you buy a dot matrix printer anymore? Can you?
I don't know.
Industrial stuff, maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
I wonder if they do that because it's a special form or something that they're printing.
No,
out.
it's not a form. It doesn't feed multiple sheets. It's one sheet. It's a manifest. Right.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd think they just replace it with a nice.
So I have a Canon copier that is 16 years old.
You can still buy
20
them on
years old.
Google Shopping.
Is that a tractor fee?
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
An Epson dot matrix. Wow.
They're so noisy. Why would you want?
Can you buy the paper too?
Sure, I guess.
It's hard to find. Oh,
my parents. I remember the dot matrix. The sound of the dot matrix.
My parents.
Thanks a lot, Stacey. Yes.
Thanks,
parents.
I was a kid. No, I was.
Thanks a
I
lot,
was a kid
Stacey. Jeez.
Sorry.
It's okay. I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that video of it was 24 if it had been shot in 1998 or 99, or maybe it was 1991?
The cell phones and dot matrix printers.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, send me the information. Okay, we're waiting to print it out. And you hear
the fax is on its way. For people from our generation, Stacey, that's not amusing. We remember those days.
Yes,
it was normal.
Yeah, I remember them too. See, I just was younger.
It was normal.
I just wasn't trying to function in the workplace.
See, now, Stacey, you're starting us back in on the history of word processing.
Oh, God.
I got to get that book. I do want that book. Stacey, what's your thing this week?
Oh, I have a great one. You guys are going to love it. I was going to do Room Me, which is a new sensor out, but I'm going to do that next week after I get one. So stay tuned for that. But, I've forgotten it.
YourThings.info.
My thing is YourThings. That's right. My thing is YourThings.com or .org. Sorry. Let me pull that up.
.info.
.info. Gosh.
/scorecards.
I'm doing this all good. YourThings.info. This is a project from UNC, Chapel Hill, and Georgia Tech.
Oh.
So 2 very legit organizations have done a review of about 75 or 74 smart home devices.
Wow.
They've only posted the scorecards for about 40-something of them, but they're your popular ones. You've got Belkin, Wemo, you've got Arlo stuff, you've got Bose, Sonos, Amazon Echo, Google Gears, Roku's, SmartThings. And what they've done is they've done a device grade. And that's related to characteristics of security on the device. They've done it for the mobile networks and for the cloud capabilities. I don't really know the cloud endpoints. So like, where are they sending data? What are the TLS configurations? They've also graded it on its network communication. So is it encrypted? What kind of protocols are they using? Are they susceptible to man-in-the-middle attacks? Mm-hmm. So you can go and look up your devices. You can look up how they scored. I was kind of surprised by some of them. And I just thought this was and I would encourage you to do so. And even before you buy a new device, I would encourage you to go and be like, hello, are you a good device to have in my house? Why or why not?
If you were going to pick one of the 4 grades, device, mobile, cloud, or network, which do you think is the most important?
This is really tough because, it kind of depends on what you want the device to do.
What's interesting is that you can get things that are really high in one category and terrible in another category.
Yeah. And, I was Sonos got an F for, I think it was network connectivity.
Yeah.
And some of these are design decisions. I think, and this is why security for these things is so tough, because some of these decisions make sense within the context of what is likely to happen, like what you're likely using it for. And so it's very hard to be like, oh, this is terrible.
There is not one device in this list so far that has an A in every category.
Canary is the closest, which
3
does not
A's and a
surprise
B.
me.
Yeah. What is?
Yeah.
Tell me about what's Canary again?
Canary is a all-in-one home security device. So it's one of those. Yeah.
Oh, you mean is it the Thinkst Canary? No.
The what?
No.
Canary. It's
not the Canary we advertise for Thinkst. It's a different product.
I don't know what that product is, so I'm going to guess no. If you Google Canary.com.
That's an enterprise security device, so I don't.
Oh yeah, no. This is a siren and motion sensor and decibel sensor.
Oh, I remember the Canary. Yeah, it's a little tower thing. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It gets a high score. That's nice. I've searched for it and I found the Canary Islands.
Also lovely.
Also,
maybe. I don't know how secure those are.
It is not. In fact, it's not an SSL site at all. The connection is not secure to the Canary Islands.
But for example, your Google Home, its cloud is super secure, right? As you might expect, because it's Google, so it's behaving well. The device score is only a 78.
Wow.
And the mobile app score is only a 69.
Okay.
And the network score is horrifying because probably it's not encryption.
They got a device just called Chinese Webcam.
Yeah, I did like that one.
We don't know anything about it. It's just a Chinese webcam, but it did not do well, as you might imagine. This is good. This is very useful stuff. I like it.
So I thought you guys would appreciate your audience, all of you guys.
Yeah.
Y'all.
Y'all.
I thought y'all would appreciate it.
Y'all. We're going to start saying y'all. We're going to make y'all be the new lingua franca.
Please do.
Y'all is great.
Y'all good?
Y'all good? Jeff Jarvis, y'all good? Your number of the week.
It was hard to find a number this week, too, but I finally found one. One of the more interesting but actually kind of useless technologies Google's talked about is Project Jacquard.
Oh, yeah.
Which is controls built into fabric. They had a Levi's jacket. They have it available in something else now, in a backpack. Oh. And you think that would make people all kinds of happy geeks then get it? But it's a Yves Saint Laurent backpack.
Uh-oh.
that costs $880.
Yikes! And what can I do with it?
It's not a backpack that costs $880, Jeff.
It's not?
It's a backpack strap that costs $880.
Worse.
You have to backpack not included.
Worse.
Oh my God!
$880.
You could put that on your other backpacks, right?
Any backpack you want.
Yeah.
All right, so it's interoperable.
It's an interoperable
And well worth it.
backpack strap. Wow. And it has a USB port. There's a Jacquard dongle. Wow.
So you can stroke up, stroke down, tap, or cover to do things on your phone.
I like this. We're gonna see this in more places where it's good. The costs are gonna come down. They're just playing with it.
I would hope
if you
so.
can afford it. Think about having another interaction paradigm. I said that word on that you can use when your hands are not full, but like when you don't want to pull out your smartphone.
Yeah, but
I will tell you,
it's kind of a limited
it's
set
totally limited
of functionality. So
what
I
four
would not buy
functions
this today.
I could make this.
Volume up, volume down, pause, play.
Can I tell you what my bicycle helmet does? So I have a Laval bicycle helmet, which I love, Livall, and it has a little dongle, a little thing you attach to your handlebars that has multifunctionality. You pair it to your phone. It's a Bluetooth-enabled helmet. You pair it to your phone, and it has a left turn signal, a right turn signal, volume up, volume down, start, stop, take a picture, launch the smart agent, all in one tiny little button. That's the kind of function, and it's not $800. That's the kind of functionality you want. I can answer the phone. This thing is amazing. So there, I think this is overpriced. This Jacquard technology.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I even
if you're looking
send
for
an
a
SOS
bargain,
alert. Get the helmet.
Or you can get the Facebook portal on sale on Amazon right now for $70 off.
Oh, I thought it was going to be for $70. Then I would have plotzed. I spent so much money on those two portals. I think $600 total for two portals.
For you and your mother?
No, it ended up not getting used at all, and it's just sitting there, and Burke's taking it apart.
It's $130.
It's now down to $130, but that's the $199 one. That's the smaller one. I got the big, tall ones. So here, just so you know what this multifunction button looks like, it's right there.
Oh, it's on the bike. Oh, I see.
See, it's on your handlebar. Press left for left turn, right for right turn. Press the red button to start and stop music. Bottom button, Siri or Google Assistant. Top button, camera. Up and down buttons, volume up and down. I think that's pretty good in just a simple device. That is about, it's only about that big. By the way, I love my helmet. And it lights up as I'm driving down the street. So people won't hit me.
People can see Leo coming.
You can see me coming. I'm bling bling all the way. They actually call it the bling helmet. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of Twig for the week. I think we'll have more to talk about next week. I'm just hoping.
The Apple event. And what else is happening next week?
The Apple event.
Google?
I won't be here because I'm going to the Pod Fronts. In San Francisco. Upfronts. Jeff knows what upfronts are. It's where the networks bring their shows and their stars and show advertisers and say, please buy us for the next year. Podcasting has a similar thing, though. I went a couple of years ago to New York's the Pod Fronts. IAB does these. And I'm going into San Francisco to the Pod Fronts. So I won't be here, so it'll be Jason Howell next week. But I will return the week following.
Stacey will also not be here, sadly, next week.
I'm going to take over.
I won't.
Yep. You should take over.
Yeah.
So it will be.
I'm going to talk about chicken sandwiches and moral panics.
Yes, and Gutenberg.
But Jason Howell and Aunt Pruitt will both be on the
nice.
show.
So it'll be Aunt and Jason. Good.
Yay.
Our newest hire, Aunt Pruitt, who's just awesome. And Habermas. More Habermas. More Habermas. Ladies and gentlemen, we do This Week in Google every Wednesday, 1:30 Pacific, 4:30 Eastern, 20:30 UTC. If you should want to watch us do it live and catch all the punctuation commentary at the beginning before the show begins, tune in twit.tv/live. You can listen and watch live. If you're doing that, join the chat room. Watch them studiously ignore the punctuation commentary. You can also get on-demand versions that are minus the punctuation commentary, thanks to our adept editors, who will also cut out my repeated story from the week before. Will you, please? That is at twit.tv/twig. And, of course, wherever you get your podcasts, which is everywhere, including YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Pocket Casts. Just subscribe. That way you'll get every episode the minute it's available. Thank you all for joining us. Y'all have a great night now. Bye-bye.